looks like we made good time. Not too early or too late either.
We just barely graduated from Sunday school. I never dreamed we'd have to study so hard to become bracers.
Well, you're in luck. Today is our last day of training. Truth be told, though, you're the one who signed up to be a bracer in the first place, so I don't know why you'd expect to get away with any less effort.
Oh yeah, I guess I did. All right then. Let's get to it and make it through this last hazing from Shara.
You look ready to me. Let's go meet with Shara at the Bracer Guild over there then.
There you two are. Good morning, Estelle. Good morning, Joshua.
Morning, Aina.
Good morning.
Is Shara here already?
Yes, she's waiting for you upstairs. Once you finish today's training, you'll finally be recognized as members of the Bracer Guild. Good luck to the both of you.
Thanks.
We'll do our best.
The Star and the Hanged Man, the Hermit and the Magician, and last of all, inversion through the Wheel of Fortune. This is a difficult combination. How should I interpret this?
Good morning, Shara.
Well, if it isn't Estelle and Joshua, this is a rare occasion for the both of you to show up so early.
Since it's my last day of training, I figured, why not? I'm ready to get this show on the road and become a bracer myself.
I'll give you credit for your enthusiasm. But I'm going to work you hard today in every way I can think of to make sure that high-spirited attitude of yours holds up. I hope you're ready.
I can feel that enthusiasm dropping already.
Quiet, you! Every time I teach you something, you somehow manage to forget it. This training is my way of trying to keep some of that information in your head instead of letting it dribble out your ears like it usually does.
Oh, Joshua! Shara's picking on me!
Don't worry, Shara. While Estelle may hate studying and rarely ever does her homework, acts rashly, is overly naive, and has a tendency to stick her nose into everything, her instincts are sharp, so I'm sure she'll pick up on how to use an ornament with some practice. Eventually. Probably.
I guess there's not much I can do now except hope for the best.
Hold on a sec, Joshua. Somehow I get the feeling that you weren't standing up for me.
Well, that's odd. I'm positive I described all your best traits accurately.
Whatever. By the way, Shara, what were you trying to predict with your tarot cards? Your face was really intent.
Oh, this? I was just trying to get a vague reading of what might happen in the near future. Unfortunately, I don't seem to have been in the right mindset to interpret the cards correctly.
You couldn't read the cards?
Now that's surprising to hear.
Actually, the more profound the meaning of the cards, the more difficult they become to interpret. But that's not important now. I think it's time we start your final training. I'll give you a brief rundown of all the information we've covered in your previous training. This is the minimal level of knowledge that bracers should have in order to function effectively. And, Estelle, make sure you pay especially close attention to what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
What would you like to know about? Orbments are mechanical devices which operate by using what is known as orbal energy. A variety of effects can be produced depending on their structure and the type of quartz, or processed septium, installed. Although it's only been about 50 years since their invention, these devices play an integral role in all facets of life, from lights, heaters, and other everyday products, to weapons, magic, and even airships. In connection, this technological reform is commonly known as the Orbal Revolution. What would you like to know about? Bracers are investigative and combat specialists who work to protect civilians and maintain the stability of their respective regions. They aid the community in various ways, such as exterminating monsters, preventing crime, finding lost items, and escorting people and goods. The Bracer Guild, which has established branches across the continent, manages the affairs of the bracers in each region. What would you like to know about? The Kingdom of Liberal, which we live, sits in the western half of the Sumerian continent and abounds with nature and deep-rooted traditions. Liberal is proud to be one of the leading producers of septium on the continent and is known for its high level of technology used to develop orbments. Orbment technology has also been a key pillar of support for Liberal in protecting its independence, as it has contended with neighboring nations. 10 years ago, when Liberl was invaded by the Erebonian Empire, it was the use of orbital-powered airships that saved the kingdom from defeat. Consequently, even now, our relationship with the Empire is somewhat sensitive, but thanks to the Queen's political finesse, Liberl enjoys peace. What would you like to know about? Let's see. Since we've got a mountain of stuff to do today, I'll let you off the hook this time with a condensed review. I'm going to speed things up now and move on to the practical portion of your training.
Shara? How is today's practical training any different from the training we've done before?
Since it's practical, that means you will be experiencing things firsthand. Therefore, I'm going to have the both of you run through everything as if this were a real bracer job.
So, what you're saying is, there won't be any studying at a desk involved?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. This time, you'll have to go out and make a physical effort to accomplish your task. I'll make sure to have you work up a sweat, so I hope you're ready.
Yes! That's seriously just what the doctor ordered. I didn't know what I was gonna do if I had to sit another day with my tush parked at a desk. I guess I got all worried for nothing.
Well, suddenly you're all bright and cheerful, Estelle.
Let's just hope that smile on your face lasts until the end of today's training. Okay, let's get cracking on your first objective, shall we?
Let's have at it!
Your first objective will be to confirm the details of the job you will be performing. But before that, there is something that we need to give the both of you. Aina, are they ready?
Yes, they are.
All right, you two. Go get one for each of yourselves.
These are very important, so make sure not to lose them.
Bracer notebooks serve as the official way to record the status of your current jobs. Also, anything you may hear or anything you may find and where. These kinds of trivial things can often become clues. No matter how insignificant something may seem, always write it down.
Understood.
Crap. This sounds like it's gonna be a pain.
Oh? Please tell me it was my ears playing tricks on me, because I swear I only got one response.
I'm sure there were two.
Keeping an accurate account of events is an important duty for all bracers. So, get with the program and stop trying to make this out to be more than it really is, Estelle.
Okay, I got it.
Make sure you do. All right then, let's begin. Look over by the door. You can see that there's a bulletin board standing there. First, I want you to go and check the job description posted there. Very good. It looks like you were able to see what was posted without any trouble. Checking the bulletin board is one of the most basic functions a bracer performs in their job. Checking regularly to see whether or not there are any urgent tasks which need immediate attention is also an important duty for bracers.
Man, all this talk about duty is starting to cramp my style.
Sure, there are a lot of rules to follow, but there's an equal level of responsibility in the jobs themselves. I think being a bracer calls for much more than just someone with a half-hearted attitude.
I guess you're right. I'll just have to be more motivated.
Is that so? Had a change of heart, have you?
You betcha.
Well, before all that motivation sneaks off somewhere, let's get to work on your next task.
What'll we be doing this time?
We'll be heading across the street to Mr. Melders' Orbital Factory and learning about how to use its services. He has graciously taken time out of his work schedule to explain things, so make sure to be on your best behavior.
Okay.
Here is where you will learn how to use an Orbital Factory's services. At an Orbital Factory, you can modify your orbments and synthesize support quartz in order to use Orbital arts. Arts have a wide range of effects and if mastered, can be extremely helpful. The bracer business is a pretty risky occupation, so the guild has had a long-standing relationship with these Orbital Factories. Anyway, this is about as much as I can explain. I'll leave the technical details to the expert. So, Mr. Melders, if you wouldn't mind taking over from here.
No problem. Leave everything to me. So, what is it that you would like to know about? Orbments are mechanical devices which exhibit an array of effects through the personal installation of various types of quartz. By definition, that means that lights, airship engines, and so on are also types of orbments. However, the ones we'll be discussing today are battle orbments, which enhance the user's physical abilities and make it possible to use magic. Since each orbment is adjusted to match the owner's personal aptitude, the structures for these devices also differ for each owner. Simply put, the shape of the fixed elemental slots and lines which connect them vary. At any rate, that's the layman's explanation. In order to install quartz, you must first have an open slot. By default, the central slot is open, but the other slots must be opened at an orbital factory, like this. It'll take a fair amount of Sepith too. EP, which is needed for magic, will also see a max increase according to the number of open slots. I recommend opening them all as soon as possible. So, what is it that you would like to know about? Simply put, orbital arts are magic which can be discharged exclusively through the use of battle orbments. In other words, a number of peculiar effects can be produced by using the orbital energy stored within these mechanical devices. Since orbital arts can be a mouthful, they are almost universally referred to as arts. Probably ought to have been called that from the get-go. There are several types of arts, but in order to be able to use them, their corresponding quartz must first be synthesized at an orbital factory. Orbments are also set up so that once a particular quartz is installed into a slot, the owner will be able to use those arts. The type of arts one can use also changes depending on the elemental value and the combination of the installed quartz. Basically, if you want to use water arts, all you have to do is install quartz with a water elemental value. In reality, orbments are much more complex than what I've described, but I think this information should suffice for now. So, what is it that you would like to know about? Quartz are circuits made from Sepith. Quartz have a vast number of effects and raise the owner's abilities while simultaneously making it possible for them to use arts. However, you will not be able to harness any of these effects until quartz has been installed into a slot. However, there are also fixed slots, in which only a certain type of elemental quartz can be installed. This being the case, when you synthesize a new quartz, be sure to check your orbment and decide where you will be installing it ahead of time. So, what is it that you would like to know about? Sepith are fragments of septium, which are dropped by monsters. They are divided into 7 types: Earth, water, fire, wind, time, space, and mirage. Sepith can be exchanged for Mira almost anywhere, but at the orbital factory, it can be used to synthesize quartz and to open orbment slots in which to install the synthesized quartz. So, what is it that you would like to know about?
It looks like Mr. Melders has answered all your questions. If there's nothing else, then let's have you both try and use the services here. For that, you're going to need some Sepith. With that amount, you two should be able to synthesize a few quartz. Now, I want you to begin by first making an elemental quartz that will work with each of your particular orbments. In your case, Estelle, any elemental quartz is okay, but for you, Joshua, it has to be a time elemental quartz. Normally at a shop, you would be able to exchange Sepith for Mira, but for this training, you will not be able to use this service. Alright, it looks like you were able to synthesize one. Next, I want you to increase the arts you can use. Now install a quartz into your orbment so that you can use both recovery and attack arts. Alright, it looks like you've got both recovery and attack arts set up. If you balance your arts out between each other like you've done here, it should make dealing with monsters much easier. Additionally, your bracer notebooks contain information about which quartz allow you to use which arts. If you'd like to use more powerful arts, check out the arts and quartz charts in your bracer notebooks and find something that works for you. Alright, our training here is almost finished. Last of all, I'm going to have one of you open a new slot in your ordnance. The more slots you have available to you, the broader range of choices you'll have. Since EP, which is consumed by using arts, can have its max value increased by opening up slots, it would be a good idea to open them all early on. Now, I want you to use the Sepith and open a slot on each of your ordnance. Go ahead and decide which slots you're going to open. I see you've managed to open one of your ordnance slots, Estelle. Since your central slot is not limited to a particular elemental, you are free to install any type of quartz you like. This concludes your training here at the Orbital Factory. Now, it's time to move on to what you've both been waiting for, the qualification test.
Pardon? Did you just say test?
You can't honestly tell me that you forgot about the test again, can you? Didn't I remind you just this morning?
Now that you mention it, I vaguely remember some sort of talk along those lines at the breakfast table.
Sometimes I fear for the future of the Bracer Guild. And humanity. Oh well, no sense in worrying about that now. Let's head over to the testing area.
You mean like now? I don't know if I'm ready for...
How about a little less yapping and a little more walking?
Joshua! Help me!
Mr. Melders, Freddy, thank you for all your help.
Don't mention it. And good luck with that test of yours.
We'll be rooting for you.
I'm going to remember that you left me high and dry like this, Joshua!
All your training has finally come down to this. Your qualification test will begin here. I expect to see you both use what you've learned up to this point.
Understood. What's wrong, Estelle?
Shara?
What now?
I was kind of wondering, but, is there not going to be a paper test or something?
Did Cassius drop you on your head or something? You just read what it said on the bulletin board not that long ago, right?
Yeah, and?
And I even made you jot down what you read in your bracer notebooks. Unless you forgot that, too. I'm pretty sure the job listing mentioned searching for and retrieving an item from the sewers. Ringing any bells yet?
Oh, what a relief! Oh, divine Adios! I give thanks to thee for thy infinite grace in bestowing upon us such wonderful gifts as sewers.
So what you're really saying is that you thought it was a paper test. No wonder you were acting all crazy back at the Orbital Factory.
I can already feel the nostalgia. All those horrible days stuck in a classroom are starting to feel like grand memories indeed.
I'm really starting to wonder if we'll even be able to graduate at all.
What's wrong with you? Why do you have to go and say something like that when I'm trying to reminisce about positive things?
Alright, that's enough jabbering, you two. This is supposed to be a test, so how about the both of you try to at least look a little anxious? Just so you know, though, if you do happen to flunk the test, you don't even want to imagine the kind of homework I have in store for the both of you.
We'll be fine. Just tell us what you want us to do and let us loose.
Well, if you're so confident, then how about proving that you're not just blowing hot air with the results of your test? Anyway, as you both saw on the bulletin board, this test will be a search conducted in Roland's sewers. Your objective is to retrieve the contents of a chest which has been placed somewhere within that area. The layout of the sewers is extremely simple, so you don't need to worry about getting lost either. However, there are real, living, breathing monsters down there, so if you get careless and let down your guard, you will be sorry. Also, let me give you this before I forget.
What's this book for?
It's called a monster guide, and it's used to record information about monsters and other opponents you meet. Whenever you figure out an enemy's attributes, you should make an immediate note of it in there.
Sounds pretty straightforward to me. He who controls the flow of information controls the tide of battle, right?
That's exactly what I'm saying. You've really got a good head on your shoulders, Joshua.
That's some pretty useful advice. Thanks for the tip, Shira.
We'll put it to good use.
Alrighty then, let's get pumped and knock out this test.
Let's. Don't forget though, this is an exam. We should make sure we treat it as such. There appears to be a recovery point set up over there. Let's use it if our HP and EP become low before engaging in any further battles.
Sounds like a plan to me. Monsters at 12 o'clock.
Be careful not to let them take advantage of your blind side.
Got it.
That's that then. Let's move out.
Well, that was easier than I thought. All right, let's keep up this pace.
Estelle, wait a second. We should write down the information about the monsters we just fought in the monster guide.
You're right. This monster. Okay, that should do it. More company, straight ahead.
Depending on the enemy, some physical attacks may be ineffective. Let's use arts, not physical attacks.
Okay. Piece of cake.
Estelle, let's try using crafts this time around. Since crafts have other effects besides just dealing out damage, they're worth a shot.
Roger that. Come on! Whoa! What a surprise! Another creepy thing. I wish there was an easier way to take care of them.
One blow using an S-Craft or S-Break should do the trick for just about any enemy. The catch is, our CP has to be at least 100 to pull off one of those moves.
That's that then. Let's move out.
So that's the treasure chest we're after, huh? If we've made it this far, the rest is gonna be a piece of cake.
Seems like we've got a little breathing room at least. Let's pay close attention to our battle order this time around. There should be a number of ways to get more mileage out of our actions.
That's weird. There's a couple of boxes inside the treasure chest. The fact that there's not just one but two is kind of interesting too. I wonder what's inside.
Remember, Estelle, our mission is to search and retrieve only. I'm pretty sure looking inside those boxes doesn't fall under our mission objective.
You're no fun at all, Joshua. This has nothing to do with our mission. It's what I like to call good, honest curiosity. You know, we're the only ones down here. We could get away with a teensy-weensy peek, right?
If you feel like flunking today's test, then by all means, be my guest.
Did you just say the F word?
Yep. Opening one of those boxes could result in an automatic fail for the both of us. If this were a real job, the contents of those boxes would belong to the client. And as long as they were nothing illegal, we would have no right to open them.
I know you're right, Joshua, but I just can't help myself.
If you absolutely have to know what's inside, why not ask Miss Scherer when we get back? But for now, we need to focus on getting out of here.
All right, all right.